Well, snowed in and now shut down as 21 states and D.C. deal with this latest winter blast. Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you. I'm Neil Cavuto. All right, what do we got now? More ice. We got more snow. We got more freezing rain. And, oh, yeah, bitter cold. A lot of it everywhere. You name it. Folks from the south to the northeast are dealing with it. More than 200,000 power outages reported. Another 3,200 flights canceled or delayed across the country. In New York City, it's so cold, this fountain is now frozen solid. And we're all over it with Joe Dominguez in Mount Airy, North Carolina, where the problem is ice and a lot of it. James Rosen in D.C., where just a bit of snow shut the entire capital down. And Janet Steen on more severe winter coming our way. We begin with Joe. What's going on there, Joe?
Well, things appear normal, Neil. You can take a look behind me. You can see some of the traffic moving on the main streets here in Mount Airy. The road crews have really done a good job of clearing things out along with the warming sun. But this has already been a costly storm. One person has died from the storm in the state of North Carolina. That person was in Hertford County. And you can see where the trouble lies here. Some of the water that has been pushed off of the roadways or is just melting from all of the snow and sleet. It's going to cause big problems. That's according to the governor, Pat McCrory, here in North Carolina. He says the worst may be yet to come because of the sub-freezing temperatures that we're going to see here in the next few days. That could lead to widespread power outages if ice forms on power lines and trees. So far, the state troopers have gotten more than 2,000 calls for help, but that number could go through the roof if the ice freezes on the power lines and we have widespread power outages. Come with me this way. There is some fun in all of this. We are in Mount Airy, North Carolina right now. It is home to Mayberry USA, the inspiration for the Andy Griffith Show. And if you follow me around the end of this building, you are going to see some of the snowfall totals that we've seen here in this area, the most that we've seen in the Piedmont Triad area. You can see some of the snow piled up on the benches here and some of the trash cans as well. The good news in all of this, kids are out of school for the day. Most kids in North Carolina are out of schools. Some school districts, like the ones here in Stokes County, have already called off school for tomorrow as well. A lot of fun to be had in this wintry weather, but also some danger that may still lie ahead, Neil.
Joe, thank you very, very much. Well, this time-lapse video capturing the snow falling in D.C., I think that's the White House in the background. That's about 4 inches of snow, 4 inches here. But it's enough to shut the federal government down. To James Rosen. Really, James?
Oh, yeah, really, Neil. You know, it isn't the corruption, it isn't the gridlock, it isn't even the lack of the decent slice of pizza to be had in this town. The worst thing, the single worst thing about #ThisTown, the nation's capital, is how everyone here freaks out over the most minor weather events. The new mayor of Washington, D.C., Muriel Bowser, declared a snow emergency early this morning, despite the fact that the metro area only in the end received about 4 inches of snow. 4 inches. Neil Cavuto regularly has Victoria's Secret models on the show who wear stilettos that high. The D.C. public schools closed for the day. That delayed by about 24 hours the daily ration of mental torment inflicted on my son by the Common Core. And the federal government shut down without even waiting to run out of money. The alleged snow emergency, by the way, was lifted by 2 p.m. But you'll be pleased to know that by 11:30 a.m. today, the city's parking enforcement officers, those sentinels of public safety, had already ticketed and towed 132 vehicles for ignoring the new snow emergency rules. And then there was this. Despite the striking resemblance, this is not your members of Congress debating legislation. This is the snowball fight organized by a silly and altogether wonderful group that calls itself the Washington, D.C. Snowball Fight Association. You got to wonder how much the lobbyist for the Snowball Fight Association pulls down. I'm thinking $600K a year, easy. Anyway, Neil, this did not rise to the level of Snowmageddon or Snowpocalypse. It was more like snow big deal, stop freaking out. Back to you.
I'm so glad we put you second on top of the show. Thank you, Mr. Rosen. Appreciate it. And the stiletto references as well. All right, now to Janet Steen, who we try to stick outside, but oh no, this all-important meteorologist can't do what other weather people do.
Okay, hang on.
Oh, here we go.
Hang on. Does this help? I was wearing a coat.
No, we've got you in front of a green screen. Quiet. All right, so here we go. Look at this. This is You are responsible for this, Janice.
Listen,
and no matter what you put
tried.
on, will not mask the pain for the country. What else is in store for us?
But my equipment failed.
Oh, okay,
An
fine.
excuse I've used before.
A wardrobe malfunction. Go ahead.
Let's take a look at the snowfall totals. Yes, we had snow across the Mid-South in Kentucky at 14 inches. And D.C., I'm afraid they got about 5 inches of snow, a little bit more than that, Mr. Rosen, with your sarcasm.
Mr.
So
5.3.
Yeah. I know, right? Sarcasm. Let's take a look at it. This is the system that has now exited and shut the city of Washington, D.C. down. But we are seeing some snow still falling for our friends in Boston. Oh, my gosh, Molly Line, I'm so sorry. I think we're going to get to the top 2 snowiest of seasons within the next 24 hours because we need just 0.6 of an inch here to get to the second most snowiest season and then just about 10 inches to get to the top snowiest of all time. You might as well break some records. So the cold blast, we have got cold air in place for the next 7 days at least across the eastern half of the country. So cold we're going to break records in South Florida. You can't even travel to South Florida. So there's your morning lows on Friday. We're going to break records, we think, in Chicago, in Louisville, in Detroit, New York, Washington. You get the picture. It's going to be cold on Friday. As far south as Savannah, Georgia, as Atlanta, Nashville, you could set a record. Raleigh for sure if we get to 1 degree on Friday. And as far south as Florida, they don't have heat here in South Florida. And we're going to tie records here. 42 in Miami. I'm still not feeling that bad for the folks in Florida. And I'm sorry to say, Neil, I know you want to punish me, but it's going to be snowy and cold across the eastern half of the country for at least the next 7 days.
You know what's wild? In Disney World, it's freezing. It's 32, 33 degrees.
Yep.
So all these people who tried to escape the winter and go down there, it's a small world. It's a small freezing world, isn't it?
Mickey is even freezing his tail off.
Wow. Amazing. You know what's even more amazing? That you have a coat and scarf in a studio, which is kind of wild.
Just for the effect, right?
Yeah. It is TV. It is TV. Thank you, Janice. I think, Janice Dean. Well, did any of you see this? Niagara Falls looking more like the Frozen Falls, which got us thinking of this. You know, you think that looks good? Well, you're not alone. Nearly 50% of Americans, that would be half of Americans, are saying a last-minute vacation is indeed in the cards this year to get away from all of this. To Julie Lafredia, who says if this is not the cure for cabin fever, she doesn't know what is. But what's going on here? A lot of people sick of the snow, and they immediately are booking vacations to, I guess they have to go further south than Orlando, though. But what are they doing?
Well, I think travelers are sick of the snow and they're ready to open up their wallets. And we're not waiting till summer, Neil. We want to hit the beach now. I'm stuck here in New England, and man, that looks a lot better than what we've got up here. Interesting fact, the travel website Hopper found that for every degree the temperature drops, there's about a 2% hike in not only demand but prices. Insure My Trip has about 20% increase in calls this week. People are sick of the snow, the cold, and they are willing to spend for these getaways. We want to escape.
Where are they going, Julie? Like, what are some of the hot spots for them right now?
Well, right now, the Caribbean, it's actually cruise season where you book your cruise getaway. So that's trending right now. Really anywhere warm. That's the place to go. All
right. So is it any more unusual than it has been in prior years? Last winter, depending on where you were, it wasn't anything close to this. Were we seeing the same number of early bookings or immediate spontaneous bookings we're seeing now?
Well, we're seeing booking sites like Kayak, Priceline, GoGo Tours. They're all reporting a dramatic rise in not only the interest of people looking for these vacations, but also going ahead and booking, Neil. We're waiting for those tax refunds, too, to maybe help us along the way.
All right. Now, for a lot of folks, they don't care. They're going to spend what they're going to spend and do what they're going to do, the price notwithstanding, because they're just sick of this. I don't seem to remember a period it was so widespread and among so many age groups. I've seen it myself, talk to a lot of people of all ages say, I'm just getting out of town for a while.
Absolutely, and we're seeing a lot of promotions going on right now, and also the younger generation looking for those spring break getaways, trying to find the deals and book now. So this is really, not only are we having cabin fever, but a lot of these travel booking sites, a lot of hotels are trying to capitalize off this this weather pattern we've had, these intense freeze up here, a lot of the snow, and trying to lure visitors down to these warmer spots.
Absolutely. The old Cavuto mantra here, clothing optional. All right, thank you very, very much. Julie LaFreddy, again, way up from what it was just last year. Meanwhile, something that